I was 7 months pregnant, lugging grocery bags up 3 flights of stairs while my husband lounged on the sofa engrossed in his video games. When I finally set the bags down, drenched in sweat and gasping for air, he glanced at me and said, "You're starting to look repulsive. You better shed that weight quick after the baby, or I'll find someone who actually cares about their appearance." His buddies on the headset chuckled. I forced a smile. 3 days later, he was blowing up my phone, pleading for me to come back. "Ladies, I'm currently holed up in a hotel room, 7 months pregnant, trying to wrap my head around what went down today. Am I overreacting? Am I in a daze? I don't know, but I need to vent somewhere." Apologies for the long post. For background, Alan and I have been together for 5 years, married for 3. We met during a community theater production where I was handling wardrobe, and he was the star of the show. He was this magnetic musician type, full of passion for everything. I fell hard for him, but things started changing when I got pregnant. It was unexpected, but after the initial shock, I was thrilled. Alan? Not so much. He said the right things, but his actions told a different story, spending more time gaming with his friends and less helping at home. I convinced myself he was just adjusting to the huge life change in his own way. Typical guy, right? Plus, this pregnancy has been brutal. Constant vomiting for 3 months, then anemia, and now my back feels like it's being wrenched apart daily. Which brings me to today. I just finished work and stopped by the store on my way home. We live in a 3rd-floor walk-up, no elevator, and my car was packed with groceries. When I got home, Alan was sprawled on the couch playing Call of Duty with his headset on, surrounded by empty energy drink cans. I asked if he could help carry the groceries. He brushed me off, saying he was in the middle of something critical. So there I was, 7 months pregnant, trudging up and down 3 flights of stairs with heavy bags. By the 6th trip, I was soaked in sweat, my back was screaming, and my ankles were swelling inside my shoes. When I finally dropped the last bags and sank into a kitchen chair, struggling to breathe, Alan glanced over and said, word for word, "God, you're getting gross to look at. You better slim down fast after the baby, or I'll find someone who takes care of themselves." I was stunned, unable to process it. Then I heard laughter through his headset. His gaming buddies heard him. He meant for them to hear. Instead of breaking down or yelling like he probably expected, I walked over, smiled, kissed his forehead, and said I was heading for a shower. The confusion on his face would have been funny if I wasn't crumbling inside. In the shower, with the water muffling everything, I let myself cry. But these weren't just tears of sadness. They were tears of rage, of clarity. Suddenly, every red flag I'd ignored for 5 years came into sharp focus. This wasn't new. It was just the most blatant example yet. This was who he truly was. And I was about to bring a child into this. A child who would grow up thinking this is what love looks like. A child who might learn to treat others this way or accept being treated like this. Number. Absolutely not. I stepped out of the shower, slipped into my coziest maternity dress, and told Alan I needed some space to clear my head. He barely glanced up from his game. I grabbed my hospital go bag, already packed because I'm a planner, my laptop, my important documents, and left. Now I'm in a hotel 20 minutes away. I've called my sister Anne, who lives an hour from here, and she's coming tomorrow to help me sort things out. Alan has called twice and texted once, asking where the leftovers are in the fridge. Not where I am, where the leftovers are. I need to leave him. I need to protect myself and my baby. But I'm terrified. I'm 7 months pregnant. Our lease is in both our names. Our finances are somewhat intertwined, though I've always kept my own account for my paychecks, thank goodness. I was counting on having a partner for childcare and expenses, but I keep replaying that moment in the kitchen. The casual cruelty, the way he said it so carelessly, the fact that he wanted his friends to hear. I should have left years ago. I deserve better. My baby deserves better. I don't know my exact next steps, but I know I'm not going back to that apartment tonight. Maybe never. Many are asking if this was the first time he said something like this. No, it wasn't. There have been jabs about my changing body during the pregnancy, remarks about how I used to be so attractive, questions about my plan to get back in shape, but they were always framed as concern or wrapped in enough humor that I could convince myself he didn't mean it that way. Today was just unfiltered. To those suggesting I should have communicated better or tried to fix things, we've had countless talks about dividing chores, especially since I got pregnant. His promises to step up last about 2 days. I've suggested couples therapy 3 times. He's always too busy. Today wasn't a one-off bad day. It was the day I finally saw the truth. It's 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. Alan finally noticed I wasn't coming home and has been blowing up my phone. First with confusion. Where are you? Then irritation. You're being so dramatic. Then guilt trips. It was just a joke. You know how the guys are. His latest text was a rant about how I better not be wasting our money on a hotel. Our money. The same money that's mostly my paycheck while he pours his into his music career and gaming setup. I've decided to meet with a lawyer before returning to that apartment. I've muted his notifications, and am trying to rest for my baby's sake. My sister will be here in the morning. The baby's kicking like crazy right now. I placed my hand on my belly and whispered, "I've got you. We're going to be okay." For the first time today, I believe it. It's been about a month since my last post, and things have been intense. Thank you to everyone who sent support. It's kept me going when I felt like giving up. After that night when Alan called me repulsive for pregnancy weight gain, my sister Anne came, and we mapped out my options. We decided I'd return to the apartment temporarily to get my affairs in order. Many of you warned me not to tip Alan off about my plans to leave, and you were so right. When I went back, Alan acted like nothing happened. When I brought up his comment, he rolled his eyes, called me overly sensitive, and said it was just a joke. Then he flipped it on me, saying I've been so moody and he's been walking on eggshells. He actually said, "Do you know how tough this pregnancy has been for me?" For him. I nearly lost it, but remembered my plan. I took a deep breath, apologized for overreacting, and said I was just tired and hormonal. The relief on his face was instant. He thought he'd won, that I was back in line, and things could go back to normal. Little did he know, I was already talking to a divorce attorney. This past month has been one of the hardest of my life. I've been living a double life, outwardly playing the remorseful pregnant wife while secretly preparing to leave. Here's what I've done so far. I've kept a detailed log of Alan's behavior, dates, times, and his exact words. I've also discreetly recorded some of our conversations where he's been particularly cruel. My lawyer says this could strengthen my case. My paycheck has always gone to my personal account, thank goodness. I've now switched my direct deposit to a new account at a different bank. I've been quietly transferring small amounts from our joint account to my private one, reclaiming what I've contributed over the years. While reviewing our finances, I found something sickening. Alan opened a credit card in my name without my knowledge, racking up over $5,000 in debt for his gaming PC and other purchases. I've reported the fraud to the credit card company with proof it wasn't me. I've gathered all my important documents, birth certificate, marriage license, bank statements, tax returns, and stored them securely outside the apartment. My sister helped me find a small 2-bedroom apartment on the ground floor with in-unit laundry and good security. I signed the lease last week. It's simple but safe and all mine. I've been quietly packing essentials, moving important items to my sister's place when Alan's out. Nothing obvious enough for him to notice. I got a burner phone Alan doesn't know about. My regular phone stays normal, but I have a backup he can't track. Living this double life has been exhausting, especially at 8 months pregnant. My ankles are constantly swollen, my back aches non-stop, and the baby feels like she's doing somersaults on my bladder and ribs. But every step toward freedom fuels me. The hardest part is pretending everything's fine. Cooking his meals, laughing at his jokes, listening to him gripe about his bandmates, watching him game for hours while I handle everything else. It's suffocating now that I've stopped excusing his behavior. He's gotten worse too now that he thinks I've accepted his ways. The mask has slipped further. Last week he invited his gaming buddies over for a guys' night without telling me until they showed up. I'd just gotten home from work and was lying down because my back was in spasms. He came into the bedroom and told me to make myself useful and order pizzas. When I said I was in pain, he sighed and said, "Pregnancy isn't a disability. Women have been doing this forever." He even claimed his mom worked until the day before giving birth to him. A lie. I checked with his mom casually, and she was on bed rest for her last month due to complications. His friends were in the living room, hearing everything. One looked uneasy, but no one spoke up. I ended up ordering the pizzas from bed and paying with my own money. When they arrived, Alan shouted for me to get the door because they were in a match. I dragged myself up, shuffled past them in my pajamas, paid the delivery guy, and set out plates while they ignored me. After they left at 2 a.m., leaving beer cans and pizza boxes everywhere, Alan came to bed and tried to initiate intimacy. When I said I was exhausted, he said, "Come on, you don't even have to do anything. Just lie there like usual." I went to the bathroom and cried quietly, reminding myself I only had to endure this a little longer. My plan is to move out next weekend when Alan visits his parents for his dad's birthday. He'll be gone overnight, giving me 24 hours to execute everything with help from my sister, 2 close friends, and surprisingly, Alan's younger brother Rory, who saw one of Alan's outbursts last month and reached out to offer help. My lawyer has prepared the divorce papers. I'll freeze our joint account, take what's mine, leave the papers with a detailed letter explaining why I'm leaving, and be gone before he's back. I'm terrified. I wake up at night with my heart pounding, wondering if I can pull this off. But then I feel my daughter kick, and I know I have to. I won't raise her in a home where her mother is disrespected daily. I won't let her think this is love. In a strange way, I'm thankful for that awful grocery moment. Without it, I might have kept excusing his behavior for years. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd seen the real Alan from the start, not the charming theater guy who swept me off my feet. The warning signs were always there. I just didn't want to see them because I was so in love. My doctor says my blood pressure is elevated, likely from stress, so I need to take it easy this last month. The irony is that planning to leave Alan is stressful now, but vital for my long-term health and happiness. To those who suggested therapy, I've started virtual sessions with a therapist specializing in relationship trauma and pregnancy. It's been validating to hear I'm not overreacting. This is real emotional abuse, and I deserve better. I'll update after everything happens next weekend. Wish me luck. I'll need it, bestie. Just got a notification that this post is gaining traction while I'm at my doctor's appointment. I'll try to answer questions when I get home. Thank you for all the support. Alan just texted asking what's for dinner. I'm literally at my doctor's appointment for our baby, which he skipped for crucial band practice, aka drinking in his friend's garage. Yet I'm still expected to provide dinner. I've been picking my battles to avoid suspicion, so I'll probably grab takeout on the way home. 4 more days until he leaves for his parents. 4 more days of pretending. I can do this. Oh, and the doctor says baby girl is measuring perfectly with a strong heartbeat. Not that Alan asked. She's already doing flips in there. I think she knows we're about to start a better life. Yesterday, while Alan was gaming, shocker, I secretly ordered the cutest crib for my new place. It's being delivered to Anne's next week. I've never spent so much without overthinking, but it felt amazing to make a choice just for me and my daughter. This morning I caught my reflection while built crib, but I've never felt more at peace despite the chaos. Here's how it went down. As planned, Alan left yesterday morning for his dad's birthday weekend, 3 hours away. He was in a rare good mood, probably thrilled to escape pregnant wife duty for a weekend. He kissed me goodbye, told me not to go wild, and said he'd be back Sunday evening. The second his car pulled away, Operation Freedom kicked off. My sister Anne arrived with her SUV 10 minutes later, followed by my friend Mia with a borrowed moving truck. Alan's brother Rory showed up soon after, looking nervous but resolute. We had 32 hours to move me out completely. Seeing the apartment that morning was surreal. For 5 years, I'd lived there, slowly losing myself while pretending everything was fine. We worked methodically, following my inventory list. First, my personal items and clothes Alan wouldn't notice missing, then baby items I'd bought myself, then furniture that was mine before our relationship. Rory was incredible, handling heavy lifting despite my protests that he shouldn't help me leave his brother. At one point, while carrying my dresser, he said, "Alan's my brother, but what he's doing to you is wrong. My mom raised us better." It nearly brought me to tears in the hallway. The most satisfying moment was unplugging Alan's precious gaming PC, bought with a fraudulent credit card in my name. I packed it carefully in its original box, while Rory watched awkwardly. I told him he didn't have to help with this part, but he shook his head, carried the box to the truck, and muttered about Alan facing consequences. By 7 p.m., most of my stuff was out. We ordered pizza, a recurring theme it seems, but this time it was a celebratory meal with people who cared about me. We sat on the floor of my new apartment, eating from the box, laughing with exhaustion and relief. This morning we returned for the final phase. I deep-cleaned the apartment, not for Alan, but to leave no room for complaints, packed my last items, and prepared what I was leaving behind. On the kitchen counter, I left. Divorce papers, filed but not yet served. A folder with proof of his financial fraud. Evidence showing the gaming PC was bought with a fraudulent card, a USB drive with recordings of his verbal abuse, a note that read, "Find someone better from your couch. I already have." I didn't take everything. I left most furniture we bought together, but I photographed everything in case he claims I took what wasn't mine. I'm not here for pettiness. I just want out with what's mine. The hardest part was doing this at 8.5 months pregnant. My back was killing me by day 1, and this morning my hands were so swollen I could barely grip anything. But adrenaline and the promise of freedom kept me going. I called Alan's phone once I was settled in my new place. No answer, as expected. I left a voicemail saying not to look for me at my sister's as I wasn't there, and that he'd find everything he needed on the kitchen counter. I sent a text with the same message, blocked his number, and emailed his parents, explaining our separation and why, so he couldn't paint me as the villain. Within an hour, my phone was flooded with calls from unknown numbers, Alan using friends' phones. I didn't answer. Eventually, his mom called my sister, confirming I was safe and that Alan had treated me terribly. She broke down, apologizing for her son, which was unexpected but healing. Per Rory, Alan came home early after my message and lost it when he saw the empty apartment and divorce papers. He called everyone we know, alternating between rage, confusion, and claiming he wanted to fix things. Some of Alan's friends reached out to support me. Turns out, not everyone laughed at his cruelty. Many were uncomfortable but stayed silent. One admitted they'd confronted Alan about his behavior months ago, but he brushed them off as whipped. Another said he stopped inviting us to couple events because he couldn't stand watching Alan treat me poorly. I wish they'd told me, but I get why they didn't. It's comforting to know not everyone thought his behavior was okay. I'm exhausted but relieved. My new apartment is small but bright, with a park nearby and a balcony where I've set up a chair for morning coffee. The hospital is a 10-minute drive. I've changed my email, created new social media, and set up mail forwarding. My workplace knows my situation and has been supportive. The baby's due in 3 weeks, though my doctor thinks she might come early. I'm terrified and excited to meet her. I never planned to do this alone, but I'd rather be a single mom than raise her in a toxic home. I know the hard part isn't over. The divorce will likely get messy. Alan doesn't take defeat well, and I expect him to fight out of spite. But my lawyer is confident, especially with my documentation. For those asking about Alan's parental rights, yes, he'll have them unless he term. Alan emailed since I blocked his number saying he's coming to Anne's tonight to talk, and that I'm making a huge mistake. I've alerted Anne, who told him I'm not there and will call the police for trespassing if he shows up. I've documented this in case I need a protective order. Next morning. Alan showed up at Anne's at 11 p.m., despite being told I wasn't there. Anne didn't open the door, but her neighbor recorded him yelling and banging on it for 10 minutes before leaving. He left our wedding photos on her porch with a note saying, "You threw away everything we built." The irony of him suddenly caring about our marriage is rich. This morning, he emailed again, now apologizing, claiming he didn't realize how his behavior hurt me, promising therapy, to be a better dad, etc. The old me might have wavered. The new me sees this as manipulation because he's lost control. His apology was all about him, his feelings, his wants, his struggles, not once acknowledging how he hurt me or our child. I didn't respond. My lawyer advised no direct communication except through her. I'm spending today setting up the nursery with Anne and resting. Baby girl is super active today, like she knows we're finally safe. Social media keeps showing me signs he loves you videos, and I just laugh. I spent 5 years mistaking control for care and convenience for love. Never again, bestie, never again. 10 months later. It's been about 10 months since my first post, and so much has changed. I wanted to share a final update. Most importantly, my daughter Lily is now 6 months old, healthy, happy, and my entire world. She has my eyes, Alan's nose, sadly, and a personality all her own. She started sitting up alone last week and is obsessed with a stuffed sloth from my sister. Her favorite thing is when I sing and dance around the kitchen with her. She giggles like it's the best thing ever. The birth was intense. I went into labor 3 weeks early, 5 days after moving into my new apartment. Anne was my birthing partner and was incredible. After 19 hours of labor, including 3 hours of pushing, Lily arrived at 6:22 a.m., screaming her lungs out. When they placed her on my chest, I knew every tough choice was worth it. I didn't tell Alan I was in labor. My lawyer said I wasn't obligated to, and given his erratic behavior after I left, I didn't want added stress. I informed him of Lily's birth the next day via email with a formal photo of her, not including me, and basic health and birth stats. His reply was a mix of anger for not being told, demands to see her immediately, and accusations that I was using her as leverage. My lawyer handled all communication, stating that due to his behavior, we'd establish a formal visitation schedule through the courts. Now here's something I haven't shared before. Possibly my pettiest but most gratifying moment. Remember how Alan said I was repulsive for pregnancy weight gain and needed to slim down fast? Well, when Lily was 3 months old and I was starting to feel like myself, I did something bold. During the divorce, we found Alan had hidden money in a separate account. My lawyer fought hard, and I was awarded a chunk of those funds as marital assets. Instead of saving it all like a responsible adult, I decided Lily and I deserved a treat. I booked a 5-day trip to a Florida beach resort. Anne came to help with Lily, and for the first time in ages, I relaxed. On day 3, I was by the pool while Lily napped in her stroller. I was in my first bikini since before pregnancy. My body was different. Stretch marks, a C-section scar, softer in places. But I was proud of what it had done. I had Anne take a photo of me in my swimsuit, looking at the ocean. I looked happy, confident, and yes, slimmer than during pregnancy. Obviously, I sent it to Alan with the caption, "Slimming down already? No worries." Then I blocked him again before he could reply. Satisfying? Beyond words. Reclaiming my body, confidence, and some of his hidden money was the final step in breaking free. Per Rory, Alan was furious when he got the photo. The divorce was as tough as I expected. Alan fought everything, initially demanding full custody despite zero interest in baby prep, then our entire apartment's contents despite leaving the furniture, even my car, which I owned pre-marriage. His tune changed when my lawyer presented evidence of his fraud and abuse. Suddenly, he wanted to negotiate. We settled 3 months ago. I have primary physical custody of Lily. Alan has supervised visitation for 4 hours every other weekend. Child support was set based on his actual income, which was higher than he claimed. He kept his belongings, I kept mine, and we split minimal joint assets. He's responsible for the fraudulent credit card debt. It's not perfect, but it's livable and stable for Lily. Alan has seen Lily twice since her birth. The first visit, at 8 weeks, he arrived 40 minutes late, complained about supervision, and spent most of the time to... Many have asked for a baby picture. For privacy, I can't share Lily's photo. Picture the cutest baby with chubby cheeks and a smile that could stop wars. That's my girl. Alan's mom just texted from an unknown number, checking on Lily and asking to visit. Unlike Alan, she respects my boundaries and seems to genuinely care about her granddaughter. I'm considering supervised visits with her, separate from Alan's time. Lily deserves family who will love her consistently and respectfully.